If you have your yarn stored in a bag that you can't see, that it's under a desk or in a cupboard, you will not be picking that up. These things that you're doing might be going against all of the reasons you wanted to do this hobby in the first place. The difference between a hobby and an obsession is time. Hey, hi, hello. This video is going to do exactly what it says on the tin. I'm going to give you 3 tips to help build crochet into a hobby that sticks. Yes, this is an ADHD edition, but that doesn't mean that neurotypical viewers won't gain something from it as well. So everyone is welcome. I'm going to preface this video by saying the content within it might require just a tiny bit of brain power. But wait, please don't leave. Everything in this video is intended to help, and most likely there's something in here that you can take away and use. This is me giving advice on how to keep this hobby in your life. This is not me saying that this is going to be your only hobby or that you can't pick it up and drop it when you want to. One of the things that I don't think gets enough praise as a neurodivergent individual is just how curious we are. So stay tuned, and hopefully these 3 tips will help crochet stick. Tip number 1, reasoning. Normally when you take on a new hobby, you don't sit and think for a second as to why you're doing it. How does it align with your life? You see something you like, you get excited, buy all the tools, you take the classes, you immerse yourself. You don't stop and ask why you're doing it. This is a really valuable question. You need to ask yourself why you have chosen to crochet and how it's going to fit into your life. This question is going to underpin a lot of the guidance in this video as well. If you think about this on a base level, you can apply this to any hobby. Think about someone who enjoys sports. Maybe they take part in that because they enjoy the competitive side. Maybe they like socializing. Maybe they take part in a 5-a-side on a Thursday evening after work, so it slots right in. Other people may want something more relaxing, and others may want a hobby that peaks and troughs and is sometimes challenging and sometimes relaxing. So I'm going to run through some questions, and I want you to have a think about this in terms of crochet. Do you like the idea of making something? Do you like the idea of being physical and using your hands to craft? Do you enjoy learning new things? Do you enjoy a hobby that is flexible, that you can pick up in the morning before work, in your lunch hour and in your evenings, that you can do on the train or in the car as a passenger? Are you put off by hobbies that have strict deadlines? Do you like to create your own deadlines? Do you like the idea of challenging yourself? Do you like the idea of a craft that offers personalization? Do you seek a sense of community? For a lot of people, crochet is one of the most accessible hobbies that you can do. It's also one of the least physically demanding and therefore appeals to a variety of people. Take some time to figure out what you do want from a hobby and what you absolutely don't want. Maybe it's easier to start with what you don't want. If you think back for a second, when you first took up a hobby, crochet, embroidery, painting, did you think like this? Not to call anybody out, but I imagine we're thinking of the end goal, the end result, and all the goodness and glory that comes with it. If you think about some of those questions with crochet in mind, and some things just aren't sticking with you, or they don't quite gel, or you're answering no to some of those questions, then maybe crochet is not a hobby for you, and that's fine. And I think about this question personally. I wanted a hobby that was calming for the most part and relaxing. I wanted it to fit in around my life. I didn't want to feel pressured. I wanted to be able to sit in front of the television and crochet. Crochet for me, as a neurodivergent person, is a stim. When I'm on the phone having difficult conversations, when I'm watching a film and I'm fidgeting, I will be crocheting. It calms me down, it regulates my nervous system. I like the fact that this hobby keeps me from needlessly scrolling on my phone every morning and every evening when I'm in bed. Also, I love the fact that even if I've crocheted just 2 rows for the whole day, I've accomplished something. And that feeling is something that eludes me in day-to-day life and my work life quite a lot. So to gain that from crochet is really great. And in that sense, I mold this hobby to work for me. I do not like to be pressured when I'm doing something crafty. So you won't catch me doing a crochet along. Never. Anyone that doesn't know, that's when parts of a pattern are released at specific times. It might be one part every week or one part every month, and you build up and make something like a blanket. I do not like the idea of feeling pressured when I am crocheting. So what I will do though is I'll wait for that whole crochet along to finish, and then there'll be a final pattern that's released, and then if I really want it, I'll buy that, and then I can work at my own pace. Next, consider when you want to be doing crochet, or where it falls naturally for you to be doing it. Maybe you're trying to fit crochet into times that are inconvenient. Maybe, for example, you take a project on the train because you think you'll have an hour spare, but actually you feel really stressed trying to do it, and then it becomes a chore. Are you finding that you're forcing yourself to do this craft? Have you started a really complicated pattern and you don't have any other projects on the go, and you're telling yourself that you have to finish this before you move on to something else? These things that you're doing might be going against all of the reasons you wanted to do this hobby in the first place. For me, I don't manually block out time to crochet, but this might work for some people. I do manually block out time to go to the gym, for example, but I can't do this for crochet. I just pick it up when I feel like I want to. One thing I do, however, is make a conscious effort to crochet and swap habits for my craft. So like I said, instead of scrolling on my phone in the morning and the evening, I get myself up and I'll crochet something, even if I'm still in bed. So take some time to consider why you've chosen this hobby and what you want from it. And then consider how you've been engaging in that hobby so far. Are you putting yourself under pressure? Are you not giving yourself enough time? I'd be really interested to know your thoughts. Let's move on to tip number 2. Community and exposure. If you want to make crochet stick as a hobby, you need to mold your algorithm and your in-person exposure. As ADHDers, we thrive on dopamine. This is not a new fact. Sometimes when we start a hobby, we're so focused on beginning it and then what the end result is going to look like that sometimes we can get lost on the way. Have you started a crochet project and then left it in a corner, never to see the light of day again? Do you have a crochet project in your cupboard or in a bag under your desk? Was it a project you were once really excited about? Maybe on the other side of this, it could have been a project that you were struggling to start. Maybe it felt really overwhelming and not quite what you expected. The answer to both of these is the dopamine. We need a kick to get there. There's a barrier that's been put in place that's removed that fun novelty aspect and replaced it with challenges. Here's an example. I need motivation to go to the gym. Who doesn't? In the short term, I am going to go on Instagram and I am going to watch some videos from some people that I follow who are maybe fitness influencers, or find videos surrounding the gym to get me engaged back into exercise. I'll watch some videos. Some people will be chatting, having a laugh, weight training, maybe doing cardio, and enjoying themselves. Watching people having a good time will then influence me to want to get off my bum and go to the gym. If I actively look for that content, it's gonna boost me up. In the long term, however, I look towards building a community around that thing that I might need a little boost on, or that deep down I really do enjoy. I just struggle sometimes in engaging with it. This might mean joining groups online, getting a personal trainer, joining a club, or attending the gym with a friend or somebody else. Think about the phrase out of sight, out of mind. I can't see the gym from here. I can't see the weights or all the machines. And so the motivation for me to go is very low. But if I'm looking at things here, it will boost me to go. Another thing I'll do is I'll lay things out so obviously in front of me, like my gym clothes, that when I get up in the morning and I put them straight on, my mindset is there. When it comes to crochet, it's the same principle. Mold your algorithm to things that interest you and excite you. If you really love granny squares, start following accounts that post that content. Start looking at the hashtags for granny square blankets or like varieties of granny squares, and fill your feed with these images and videos. Get on Pinterest and start building boards of things that interest you. They don't have to have patterns attached. They don't have to have an end goal. You might never make a single one of them, but having a group of images and videos there that inspire you and interest you is going to help. This constant sense of discovery is going to really push us out of the lull that we're feeling. So that might be a short-term answer, but in the long term, what can you do? Like the analogy with the gym, you can start to build a community surrounding crochet. There are wool shows and yarn shows that you can attend. There's always several a year across the country. You might have a local craft club that you can attend. Just go on Facebook and have a look and see what's out there. Start to follow people on YouTube and watch their content. Keep an eye out for community projects or charity projects where people are asking for crafting help. There may even be online communities for crocheters that you can join. Quite a lot of YouTubers have a free Patreon level where you can join their community and you have access to the group chats, and so you can just talk about projects. Even in your workplace, you could start a craft club. Maybe you all join together to finish your works in progress. Kind of an outlier, but another thing that might help boost you is to take progress of your own work. So if you're just starting out and you've done one chain of crochet, take a photo of it, and then in a month's time, take a picture of something else that you have progressed on. It's really good to see where you have come from to where you are now. I think people think, I haven't improved or my tension isn't any better. Trust me, it will be. So this idea of exposure and molding your algorithm so that it's kind of kept fresh in your brain consistently will help with our final tip. Space. Claim a space for you to craft and make it your own. Some people will be very lucky that they get to have a room where they can craft. I am one of those people, but it's only because I work from home. This tip links to the out of sight, out of mind phrase that I mentioned earlier. If you have your yarn stored in a bag that you can't see, that it's under a desk or in a cupboard, you will not be picking that up. If you do, great, but chances are you've forgotten it exists. If you create a space, no matter how small, and you have some notions and some yarn on show, it's going to constantly be here and your brain's going to be whirring and you're more likely to go and pick it up and have a look at it and consider maybe carrying on that chain that you started. I'm going to show you some other options just in your home that you can make your own and make a crafting space. Curating a space like this is going to encourage you to crochet without you even realizing. Before we get to talking about rooms, we can talk about something portable. So not that long ago, I purchased a trolley from Hobbycraft in the UK. It's 3-tiered. I put my works in progress in this trolley. The one that I'm currently working on sits on the top. Then I have the others that I'm not really thinking about doing, but I will at some point on the other two. I also have the yarn that I'm using and all the potential yarn that I'm going to use on that project in those baskets as well. Great thing about this is that it's portable, and so I can go and sit in bed and crochet and bring the trolley with me. I can leave the trolley in my bedroom and then I wake up in the morning and it's there looking at me, and maybe I'll pick it up before I start work. I can bring it downstairs, so when I'm watching telly or watching a film, I've got my crochet projects right next to me. The great thing about it is that there's no lids on the top of each of the tier baskets, so I can see everything all of the time. This encourages me because I'm looking at it right now it's right there. If you can't get hold of a trolley, try a basket. Just any basket, plastic, weaved, whatever you want. We don't want a lid on it. We want to be able to see what's inside of it. Maybe you've got 2 baskets and you can put one in your bedroom and one downstairs next to the sofa where you normally sit. So moving into areas that you could curate as a crochet space. In the living room, if you've got a side table next to your sofa, you can easily transform this into a mini crafting area. Remove all the previous stuff that's in there. Put some crochet magazines in there. Put your yarn in there. Put your basket in that I mentioned earlier with a couple of crochet hooks and some stitch markers, or a project that you're currently working on, and just pop it there. You could have a look at your bedside table and see if there's space on there for a crochet hook and one ball of yarn. So when you get into bed, maybe you're just practicing a chain. Crochet is portable. It's very light for the most part. It's just a hook and some yarn. And so really you can do it anywhere. If you're more of an outside person, take the trolley. Take the trolley outside, take the basket outside and sit on your garden furniture and crochet. If you prefer a kitchen table, no problem. Grab the trolley or grab a basket. Understanding your tendencies and being intentional about them is key. The difference between a hobby and an obsession is time. So take a bit of time to build and curate a space. Take a bit of time to mold your algorithm. Take a bit of time and find a community. Thank you so much for taking the time to join me today. I hope there was something in this video that was helpful for you. Please let me know if anything was helpful. If you have some of your own advice to share, please do comment down below because I'm always looking for tips. Looking ahead, I'm going to be creating some more videos along this line. I'm going to be considering some barriers crochet, and I'm going to be doing a fun series with some crochet patterns coming up as well. See you in the next one.